Your settings are holding you back, but today that changes. Let's get right into it. All right, let's go ahead and break down the settings and why we use them. Starting in the controller tab in the button layout. I run tactical because what this does is it swaps the right stick with your circle button. So now you can slide with your right stick. And why this is important is because we want to try to take our thumb off the right stick as little as possible, since this is your aiming stick. So if you don't have back paddles, I suggest using tactical. That's the reason I started out with it. I leave it on now. Even though I have back paddles, it's kind of irrelevant now if you have back paddles because I jump with my left paddle and I slide with my right. If you guys don't have a paddle controller, I would suggest looking into that if you're trying to take your game more seriously. It's not 100% necessary. There's a bunch of budget-friendly options out there too on Amazon. Look up some YouTube videos. It doesn't have to be a pro scuff or a hex gaming like I'm using. You can get away with a lot of different paddle controllers. But if you guys don't have the budget whatsoever, or you're new to the game, use tactical because now you can slide with your right stick. That's what I started out on. It's perfectly viable. Run tactical to slide with your right stick. All right, moving on, stick layout preset. I have this on default, horizontal and vertical stick sensitivity 1.6. If you guys are just coming back to the game and you're like, why did they complicate this? Why are there decimals? I would go ahead and tell you, I have no idea. But here's the equivalent chart right here to what the old senses were in the game. I play on 1.6, which is actually just the old 6.6. Find one that works for you, anywhere from like 1.4 to 1.8. Don't overcomplicate this. Maybe try 1.6 to start out. If it feels too fast, lower. If it feels too slow, up it. It's not too complicated. Find a sense that works for you and stick with it. Moving on to simplified control preset off, low motor strain preset off, bumper ping off, swap L1, R1 with L2 and R2. Some people like to swap their bumpers with their triggers. Totally fine, up to you. I don't use this because I have the hair click triggers on my right trigger anyway, but if it's something you're interested in, go ahead and try it. All right, next we got controller vibration. Turn this off. I don't know why you'd want your controller to be shaking while you're making micro adjustments to your aim, so turn this off. Trigger effect, full haptics, Deadzone inputs. This one's important. Put your left stick minimum and right stick minimum as low as possible without getting stick drift, okay? If you're like, how do I know if I'm getting stick drift? Well, test your stick dead zone. If your left stick is moving or right stick is moving at all, you probably have stick drift and need to bump up this minimum. All right, with your left stick max, put this to 70. I don't see people changing this enough, but what this does is basically means my left stick or my movement stick, I only have to push it up 70% of the way to start sprinting. It's going to make this feel more reactive, more snappy with your movement. So I highly suggest using that max on the left stick and bringing that down to 70. Okay, right stick minimum, once again, low as possible without getting stick drift. Put your right stick max to 100. Left trigger, right trigger, put these on 0 to be the most reactive. All right, switching over here to the aiming tab in the sensitivity multiplier, press show more. Go down to ADS sense multiplier, and I have this on 0.9. That's what I use for my sense. If you play on a really high sense, you're gonna need to lower this even more, and vice versa. If you play on a low sense, you're gonna need to bump this up closer to like 1.0. Okay, I play on 0.9. It basically slows that ADS sense so you can track enemies better, and it just slows it down a hair to make it a little bit easier. Okay, look conversion, standard, aiming advanced settings. You only want to change two things in here. The first one is you're going to want to change ADS sense transition timing to instant, and then aim response curve type to dynamic, and leave this on 1.0. I see a lot of videos out there, change this to linear or standard, or change this slope scale. Don't overcomplicate it. The majority of players that play this game for a living and professionally play on dynamic 1.0, and you should too. Okay, backing out of these settings here, going to target aim assist. Obviously, this should be on. And then anything, this is another one I see out there from TikTok or like random settings out there. Do not change your motion sensor advanced settings. It does nothing. Turn this off, leave this off. It doesn't give you more aim assist. Let's move on. All right, moving over here to the movement tab. I don't know why they overcomplicate all these settings. It's super overwhelming for a new player. Hopefully this helps you today. And if you haven't changed this, this is going to change the game for you, okay? Sprint assist, you want this on tactical. Sprint assist, go to show more, turn the delay down to 0. I think it defaults at 300 or 400. Ridiculous. It makes the game feel clunky. Put this all the way to 0. Sprint assist sideways and backwards, put these on. Mantle assist off, crouch assist off, corner slice, I have this on. It's really a preference setting. Do whatever feels best for you, but it's basically when you go up to a corner, it kind of like leans left or right. I like it, but you don't have to have it on, but I do. And we have slide dive behavior. This one is so freaking important. Change this to hybrid if you haven't already. If you play Warzone, you guys need to learn hybrid so that you can slide and dive all with one button. What hybrid does is it basically allows you to slide by pressing your slide button, but when you hold your left stick in and press slide, it lets you dive. So you can slide and dive all with one button, which is really important to do in Warzone. So make sure you have that set to hybrid. Go to automatic, airborne mantle, turn this off, sprint restore on, slide maintain sprint on, parachute behavior off, mantle cancel reload on, and let's get into movement advanced settings. All right, for this tab, I'm only going to focus on one setting, and that's the ground and mantle. Make sure all the rest of your settings align with what I have here. For the ground and mantle, it is kind of a preference setting. I like it on because it helps you traverse around the map much more fluid and easy, like getting in and out of windows. If you find yourself getting stuck in windows, you have to have this setting on, okay? The only downside to this setting is sometimes you're going to be in a gunfight and you're backing up while you're shooting, and then your hands go down and you mantle over something and then you lose the gunfight because of that. If you feel like you don't have a good sense of awareness of where you are around things, or you find yourself just dying because you're mantling in gunfights when you shouldn't be, then go ahead and turn this off. Okay, I have this on because I feel like I have a pretty good sense of what's around me, and it helps me traverse around the map much more fluid. All right, last thing here in the movement tab, vehicle advanced settings, copy what we have down here. It's not too important. Driver control, aim-based control, vehicle specific delay, free look, melee, finishing move, and body shield. Going over to the combat tab, aim down sight behavior to hold, weapon mount activation, ADS plus melee, dedicated melee weapon activation, hold melee. This one's so important for my beginner players, so you guys looking to get better. Whip out your melee button by holding your melee button down. Okay, so whip out that knife. It's going to give you unlimited tack sprint. You're going to use it for 2 reasons. The first one is simply to just traverse around the map. To run around the map is going to be the fastest way to move, other than vehicles, of course. We don't have zip lines anymore, so make sure you're whipping that out when there's not enemies around you to run around the map faster. The second reason would be to evade enemies. Let's say I get weak. I'm going to whip out my knife, run away, play it up. While this guy's chasing me, he's probably yelling to his teammate, he's one shot, he's one shot, he's one shot. But by the time he catches me, because he's slower with his gun, I should have been fully plated and ready to reach out that fight. So make sure you're using your knife for multiple instances around Warzone. Okay, body shield, finishing move behavior, prioritize finishing move, armor plate behavior, apply all, C4 detonation all at once, equipment behavior to hold, manual fire behavior to press. Let's go to the combat advanced settings. I really only want you to change a couple things here. Just make sure you copy down what we have. Make sure this is instant. I think it defaults to short delay. And then also interact, reload behavior. This is the big one. Make sure you change this to prioritize interact. Okay, this is so important because when I press my interact button or my square button on PlayStation, I'm going to be able to pick things up instantly and open chests instantly. Okay, but when I hold the button down, I can reload. So even if there's things on the ground, I can hold my interact button and it will reload. But if I tap it, it'll just pick things up at an instant. So when it's so important to loot, especially like early game open chests, you want this on prioritize interact, so you can just tap, 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 pick things up and loot boxes, but hold it down when you want to reload. The rest here is all pretty much default. Put this to toggle, overlay, advanced settings, directional buttons, moderate, and default. There you have it, best settings in the game. Go ahead and drop a comment down below if you guys enjoyed today's video. Those comments are literally like fuel to me. So thank you so much. It helps me make these videos. I really appreciate all your guys' support. If you guys want to check us out live, kick.com/MarkClarkk. We're probably streaming right now every single night but Sunday. And also, if you guys want to improve your aim, you have to watch this video right here.